Ark, the home of the many terrifying creatures that always give us the PTSD and the will to hopefully play that game again, right? But I always wondered, like, if you were ever trapped on an island with a group of friends and it wasn't zombies this time, no. But you, yes, you. Obviously, it's gonna be you. You're the ones trapped on this island. And today, I want you guys to think about the scariest art creatures. Now, picture yourself in a zombie apocalypse scenario, right? Oh, you don't want to go. Oh, you're saying that you ain't trying to go? You ain't trying to survive here? Okay. Oh, I see you trying to run too. Okay, hold on a minute.
Get over here!
Now that I have brought you back to this location, you're going to survive 6 months. Yep, 6 months. With you and, let's give you guys a group of friends. We're going to give you the best group of friends possible. Yeah, we're going to give you the Total Drama Crew. I mean, it's pretty simple and pretty easy. You can manage all these characters and, hopefully not die. Sure, you got to probably throw some of them. And we'll just be trapping you on an island with them for 6 months. And, yeah, you can't leave it, so this is going to test out your percent of survival. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment down below, like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And today, it is going to be about 10 art creatures that you have to survive. Which art creature is the worst? How bad are these art creatures in a zombie apocalypse scenario? Basically, think of Dead Island, but instead of zombies, you have these art creatures. Okay, no, we're not going to overspawn them. Obviously, it's going to be a reasonable population. Let's say it's like, okay, well, depending on the creature, it's probably going to be like 5 or 10 on the island. So you kind of have to deal with that as well. But keep in mind, this is going to be all vanilla creatures, meaning no modded creatures. And unfortunately, but without further ado, let us begin. Number 10 is actually the Caprosucas. Yeah, I actually do think this guy is deadly. And in all honesty, I actually thought about putting him higher, but you guys might complain about some spots here. But with that being said, why does the Caprosucas actually get this section? Well, believe it or not, in a apocalyptic-like scenario where these guys invade, this is actually terrible. For starters, they can swim, they can run pretty fast, and they can lunge. Plus, they are a decent size to get into buildings. That's why they're on the list. Now, I know some of you might say, well, what about the Sarco or what about the Deinosuchus and stuff like that? Why didn't you put them on the list instead of the Capro? Because again, the Capro is known to be the biggest pain in Ark, and plus for the environment itself, it's very suitable. I don't really see in a realistic scenario Deinosuchus or Sarcosuchus really being able to climb up stairs. At least not in a fast fashion anyway, like some Lake Placid crocodiles. But even then, they couldn't even climb stairs that fast or or even get up hills or trees and stuff like that. And you see, Caprosuchus is actually deadlier, in my opinion. Yes, they are stronger. I would definitely say Sarcosuchus is definitely a bit faster and obviously more durable. And then Deinosuchus is just boss tier entirely. Like, this dude is able to harm the Giga itself and even cripple Rexes. So I don't think it's a bad, pick for an apocalypse. But again, it wouldn't be able to suit the environment needed. These guys would fit the waterways and streams and rivers and stuff like that. Yeah, they would be able to do it, but as does the Capro. Plus the Capro's lunge ability, the fact that it can go onto land and then grab you in its mouth, drag you in the water, and just start feasting on you, it's absolutely terrifying. They're known as like the devils of the swamps in Ark for a reason. They're one of the few things you get terrified of when you go to the swamp. There's a reason why these guys have made their way into popularity and have made their way onto every single map possible, and minus aberration, or unless you have the mod, which actually does give you better Capros. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to try that at some point. But yeah, Capros definitely take the number 10 spot because of how deadly they are. Their lunge ability just makes them vastly way more formidable. And plus, you don't know when they're coming. all of a sudden, bam, you just get caught. Even on land, you wouldn't be able to see them coming all like that. But again, it's very possible you can outrun them and get behind a building. But yeah, they'd get the number 10 spot nevertheless. Number 9 is the Bloodstalker. Yeah, I think it does deserve to be on this. The alien spider or alien blood-sucking spider definitely takes it because, again, I mean, it's a look at it. I mean, sure, it's a pretty cool creature, but terrifying in the concept. Plus, the fact that these guys are essentially some of the best ambush predators in Ark, if you think about it. Plus, the way they're able to get around, stretch themselves, and elongate themselves, and the ability to have them swing around and get around areas and stuff like that. Yeah, they are vastly, and I mean this in every way possible, vastly deadlier than a large majority of the more mid-tier creatures when it comes to this kind of scenario. Raptors, great. Deinonychus, worst. But a Bloodstalker, and the fact that they live in these like communal settings where you don't really see one far away from the other. Now, sure, they may love elevated points and stuff like that, but they would definitely be the deadliest in the forest. But I could actually see them working in the city. Because in the fact that you can actually find them in Rockwell's garden. And they actually just live in like this little forest area not too far or not too, not too distant from each other and stuff like that. So in all honesty, I think they would suck to have as an apocalypse because you don't know where their traps are. And once they simply see you, that would be it. They'll grab you and then they'll drain you of all your blood and your bodily fluids and stuff like that. It would absolutely suck. So that means the river village, both of them, by the way, would just get cooked. They would probably be like no humans left and stuff like that in the jungle areas. So imagine having to go there with the group and stuff, and you run into like a cluster of Bloodstalkers, but then again, you really won't see them. They'll see you, and then they'll just hit you with that invisible string, or maybe they'll even develop a new hunting tactic. Maybe just leave their string out, and once they feel you tug on it a couple times, they'll just yank you up and just yank you out of there. So yeah, some people are probably going to die from it. Just hope you're not one of them. And the babies are just simply adorable. Scary, but adorable at the same time. As for other areas, I don't know if Bloodstalkers could like really swim. I haven't been able to like play with them at all. I never even got them on the original one because I was always just trying to find a base, make it simple, make it work, call it a day, So believe it or not, I do think on the coastal areas they would definitely stick to more of the higher land areas like the bungalow districts. However, I do think anything like over water they would probably just generally avoid. I don't know if they're good swimmers, as the bog doesn't have that too many deep parts of it that can just you can just swim and stuff like that. But again, at the end of the day, they are entirely vastly formidable. And let's be real, criminally underrated creatures that deserve to take the number 9 spot on this list. Alright, so listen. Number 8 is definitely the Giga. I know. But it's the Giga. It's also one of the most obvious creatures. Come on now. I almost put this dude at number 10. Because he was just that obvious he was going to be on the list. I got other creatures that deserve a spot. But the fact is, the Giga is kind of interesting when it comes to an apocalypse scenario. Does anybody want this? Heck nah. Is you going to go through it? Yes. Don't make me get Scorpion on y'all again. Y'all going to get over here and do this apocalypse. Now, believe it or not, I do think some of the areas you would definitely be safe from the Giga are likely the city and the... I would probably say the forest is definitely a good one because, again, you could likely avoid the Giga if you do hide in some of the more jungle-like buildings and some of the more bunker areas. As for, the city as well, just hide in some buildings, likely in the more denser areas where the Gigas will likely have, a tough time traveling and stuff like that. Also, what if they ever gave, like, Gigas a pack bonus? I'm sorry, was that terrifying? I'm so sorry. I thought about that. Like, just imagine giving Gigas a pack boost. Yeah, okay, I think I did scare myself a little bit. But overall, I do think the Gigas themselves would definitely be a very terrifying apocalypse. The fact that they can munch through things like solid metal, well, not metal, but I do think they'll be able to crunch through our metal, considering the fact that arc metal or arc, metallic or arc alloys are much more durable than ours. Keep in mind, arc has higher caliber weapons. These are the same people that can literally turn black holes or use grenades that can use black holes or detonate and use black holes here. Plus, to be honest, I don't think anyone would be able to counter a Giga. But again, they would actually be the safer. He would actually be a safer option in Apocalypse because at least you can hear it stomping and so you know it's coming. So you could likely prepare or find a way to hide at least until it, goes by and find something else and stuff like that. So you do have a pretty good way of getting around the Giga nevertheless. I think that it'll be a very tough and difficult apocalypse to survive, but y'all should be able to get through it. You got it. Just hide in some buildings. I would definitely say get food when you're able, and if anything goes wrong, sacrifice the fat one. Yeah, that usually works. Just sacrifice the fat one altogether. But yeah, Giga definitely takes the number 8 spot. I'm sorry. I know you guys probably expecting to be number 1 or higher, but let's be real here. The Giga is overrated in certain scenarios, and in my opinion, this is definitely one of them. No offense, but again, definitely overrated in this kind of scenario. At number 7, I have the Shadow Main. I'ma just be real with y'all. Y'all already know good and well ain't no way we surviving this kind of apocalypse. And in all honesty, I don't even think we could be mad about it, to be honest. It's the Shadow Main. The teleporting, swimming, invisibility lion. Rockwell, why would you make this thing? This thing should, in all honesty, it's definitely one of the cooler alien-like additions. And yes, it will be in the next Can These Art Creatures Survive Monster Hunter video, where we will have it being a part of the, what I like to call, the Nightmare Edition. So yeah, go ahead and get ready for that one as well. But the Shadow Mains, believe it or not, would actually be the deadliest at the coast. I could see a few around some of the sources of water, but again, these guys are mainly, piscivores. They like to eat fish. So they will likely be around the larger bodies of water that are in the jungle. So this does mean you are likely safe for some part until they decide to go hunting. That and the fact that they do live and hunt in packs would give them a significant edge over anybody. Plus, again, where you gonna go? You can't, what's it called? You can't climb a tree because they'll just look up at you, look at the ground, look up at you again, and just acting like, did you not see me teleport and get your friend like a couple seconds ago? And literally just teleport in front of you and eat you. And I actually think they would be the deadliest around the more beach or coastal areas because, again, of all the water spots that they actually would like. Easily able to swim through everything. And especially the diamond bungalows where they could easily just tear through the housing floors and just snatch somebody. Yeah, I think they honestly would have been much higher on this list if you wouldn't be safe for them from in the city. I think that being in the city would definitely be the safest spot because they wouldn't inhabit it. They likely go there to hunt, but then you wouldn't have too much of a hard time just avoiding them. They actually do spend most of the time sleeping and then other times hunting when it's absolutely necessary. So, in all honesty, a Shadow Main is definitely horrible. I would not want to come across it. But I do think at the end of the day, just like the Giga, you have a way to manage it with the city and stuff like that. You definitely have a way to manage it. But with that being said, yeah, they definitely take the number 7, excuse me. They take the number 7 spot. On to the next one. Number 6 is our elemental duo, the Managamar and the Magmasaur. Woof. Now again, they are here on the island individually, not together. But let's really talk about it, right? And I'm gonna just go back and forth between the two. Starting off with the Managamar, right? So Cliff Jumper, the ice version, would actually be a lot worse than you think. For starters, they're able to cover ground pretty fast, even when they're running. And well, yeah, I would definitely say being able to get in the building obviously does alleviate you from being cat food, quite obviously. But again, at the end of the day, they're still gonna find a way to pounce on you and get you. There's no way you're getting away from them. And especially if it's like winter, ooh, it is over, because you really wouldn't be able to see them all like that now, would you? Plus, they like to come out of nowhere. They come from the top rope for no reason. I mean, the reason is to eat you and, call it a day and, kind of go home. Maybe they drag you back to their young and stuff, which they probably keep in like dens or maybe at high altitudes as well. That would actually be pretty interesting. I've never done an arc ecology before, but I'm actually interested in doing it. Would you guys like something like that? Like where I discuss the possible ecologies of certain arc creatures and stuff like that, and maybe even speculate how, they've adapted to their environment. But that's where it is for, that is your options, because I might do 4 to kind of like start it off, and maybe I'll start with the Managamar. I wouldn't mind that. But with the Magmasaur itself, I mean, oh, let's not forget the Ice Beam as well, which will just freeze you in place long enough for the Managamar to get you, if the ice doesn't kill you. But now with the Magmasaur, I think it's kind of obvious. It is a walking lava lizard. Like, you get hit with that, you're already cooked. It used to be, I think it still is, a one-shot kill on the Lost Island. There's no way you're getting out of that. I'm sorry. If it's still a one-shot kill... Oh, if it's still a one-shot kill, it's just over at that point, man. There's no way. Plus, the fact that they have AoE attacks, so trying to gang up on it won't work as well. Plus, I don't even know how these guys even, can you even bring the population of these guys down? There is no natural predator for the Magmasaur, to be honest. And if you want to say, oh, well, what about the Rexes and stuff like that? Nah. See, even the X-Rex has its limitations. I don't even think it would go into the Magmasaur nest or even wait for one to come out just so they could eat it. Considering the fact that Magmasaurs could likely be just simply ore eaters as well. But, yeah, these two definitely are sharing the number 6 spot simply because they are the elemental duo, and plus they have the same amount of deadliness with the Magmasaur having number more. 5 is the one who walked so that the Shadow Mane could run, the Rock Drake. Now here's the funny thing, Shadow Manes want you to know that they're there. They have the perfect confidence level, right? Easily could take you down, but again, they're gonna give you a chance to back off and you're gonna get that warning, right? Rock Drakes, however, will start off invisible. And in all honesty, I think they are scarier than the Shadow Mane, in my opinion. And this is because they are a lot more direct, while at least the Shadow Mane is a little bit subtle and a little bit stealthy. It'll turn invisible, likely examine you for a bit, and then pounce on you. You see, with the Rock Drake itself here, it has the capabilities of climbing on any surface possible and being able to just simply turn invisible and glide you down. Like, that has to be scary. Like, imagine you see it jump in the air and then it turns invisible, but you're still running. You don't know where it is, but you know good and well that thing might just be above you. The only way I could actually see anyone surviving is likely just being at the coast and utilizing the more sand-like areas to determine where the Rock Drake is. Maybe using things like sand, maybe, the water and stuff like that. I think that would definitely be better than the likes of the forest and maybe even the city. The city, you could likely have, broken glass on the ground to kind of determine where the Rock Drake is. Maybe have glass bottles where you're at so that you can, hear it pop and stuff and then just get into cover or something like that. Something to help you prevent being eaten from a Rock Drake. There's a couple ways I can definitely see you surviving here, especially like, getting into a building in time, maybe even utilizing, again, glass bottles, and then on the coast being able to use sand. However, in the forest, you're going to have to rely on things like twigs and foliage, and you don't even know if it's you the friends I put y'all with. You never gonna know here. But yeah, Rock Drake definitely takes the number 5 spot. Number 4, I have the Death Worms. Now, the Death Worms are pretty high on the list, understandably. They could also be one of the lower ones, depending on how you look at it. Now, considering how Ice Worms are able to tunnel through solid layers of ice, which is possibly, you could actually say, is more durable than steel on some occasions, especially with the density of the ice as well, and how thick it could be. They could likely burrow through solid concrete as well, considering the fact that, one of the Deathworm mods called No Untamables, which is one of my favorites, believe it or not. I love the Deathworm and I love the Titanodrome Queen. Just useful and helpful all around. It helps me save on turns and stuff like that. I just greatly appreciate that all together. And well, the sandworms, sorry, not the sandworms, wrong continuity. The death worms would definitely be a major threat, if not flat out menaces, when it comes to like the desert era. Now you might say, oh well, what about the Caprosucas? You could have put that there and likely gotten better. Maybe I could definitely see it. The Caprosucas can also just run upstairs like the Caprosucas, but again, it is slower at the end of the day. It does have that durability bypass bite and its sandstorm or its sand whirlpool ability and stuff like that, which I kind of wish it worked in water, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, yeah, the Deathworm is just deadlier. Some of them being on the inland is absolutely ridiculous, and it's actually kind of funny how they really don't go into the inlands or like that. Probably because they're just, not comfortable swimming through all that, dirt, gravel, and stuff like that. And it would absolutely be devastating for them to actually go in and, do that. But at the end of the day, I do think the Deathworms take the number 4 spot. But they can definitely be avoided. But once you really start moving, they're going to sense where you are and likely go for you. But now, on to the big 3. Number 3 is the winner of my original or very first post. I can't believe y'all chose this over the Reaper. And again, y'all entitled to your own opinion. I understand that. But over the Reaper and Wyverns were actually pretty shocking. Because again, I've had my own encounters with Bassilis before on Aberration. And luckily it didn't go for me. It went for the moss chops that I was trying to tame, and then it slithered past me and just kind of went about its day. I don't know how or why, but I think that was my lucky first time experience. But at the end of the day, Bassilis themselves are absolutely menaces. For starters, they can burrow and even move at an incredible pace on, when they're burrowed as well. Then they're okay swimmers, meaning that you aren't really safe on the, I guess you could say, in the more aquatic-like areas, like the jungle or the whatchamacallit, the coast. The coast is what I'm trying to say here. And then you have the fact that even if you can outrun them, they'll probably just be like, okay, well, I guess I got to use my last resort, and actually shoot out their acid breath. Now, I'm not sure it's acid or venom like the poison wyvern, but again, I don't know if it has like melting properties. I think it should, considering the fact that the Bassilis does kind of operate a bit differently than the Wyvern. But then again, I do think the Poison Wyvern should also have some acidic nature. So, I guess, tell me in the comment section, do you guys think the Bassilis have, a bit more of an acidic breath than the Poison Wyvern, considering how the damage looks on a human or another creature? Or do you think that it's just simply venom and I'm overthinking it? But again, at the end of the day, yeah, this guy definitely gets the number 3 spot, as not only is it terrifying, but the fact that it has a venomous bite, can burrow, and pretty much just shoot acid at you, which could likely get into the ventilation systems of anyone's base and just kind of mess them up internally. But now for the big 2. Number 2, I have the Reaper. Now, it's kind of obvious why the Reaper is here. It's literally a xenomorph on steroids. And again, I might actually do that as a versus battle. The Xenomorph Queen versus the Reaper Queen, even though the Xenomorph Queen is quite the baddie herself, know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all didn't hear any of that. So, with that being said, yeah, the Reapers are absolutely the worst of the worst. In all honesty, they could definitely be more terrifying than number one, but I think number one definitely gets it because it can cover all types of ranges. And in all honesty, I think Rain on Fire kind of sold me in on it. But let's actually start with the Reapers. For starters, the fact that they do reproduce by impregnating humans and likely other animals as well, as it's very possible. I remember seeing someone's theory that the Reapers have likely, impregnated Rexes, and that's the reason why we don't see Rexes on aberrations, because they use them as like their, I guess you could say, their main population control and stuff like that. But again, it's a theory at the end of the day. I do think it is possible for other creatures to drive each other to extinction. I mean, we've seen the Carnosaur drive dragons to extinction on Warhammer's Lustia, so it is very possible. But again, Reapers themselves have already established a hive once they would have already hit the island, meaning that it's very possible you're not going to get to anywhere that the Reapers don't want you to. It's very possible they may inhabit the city, considering it is a wide and vastly great space. But then again, it is also possible they could inhabit the jungle, meaning again, you won't be going there anyway. And that's not even a safe place to hide from a Reaper either. I mean, they're deadly. They're some of the most dangerous creatures entirely. And the fact that if you do get the Reaper mod, or the Reaper or the creature spawns mod with the Reapers, you can actually find them on the center on Carnivore Island, or Monster Island, I believe it's called. Let me know down below. It's been a while since I played the center, but believe it or not, yeah, the Reapers are definitely taking the number 2 spot on this list. There's no way you're telling me anyone is surviving this. I mean, the best you can say is that they're weaker during the day, and I remember one comment said that, so thank you for commenting that one. I do think they would definitely be weaker during the day, or maybe just less durable in all honesty. But again, it's also possible, like this comment said, that aberrant light may not be natural light. It may actually have some type of radiation or chemical imbalance that can mess up the Reapers. But yeah, they definitely get the number 2 spot. But then you could argue they're number 1. Number 1, or you could possibly argue number 2, is definitely the Wyverns. And in all honesty, just sticking with even the main 3, I think we all can agree that they're just devastating. Just poison, fire, and lightning. There's no way you can outrun. You could likely outrun them and juke them, but if they start blasting you, there's no way you're getting away from that. You could likely get away from the fire and poison, but lightning, we don't even move that fast. We can't really dodge lightning. Maybe we can anticipate it and move out the way before it even, strikes, because, lightning does take a little bit to, crackle, then build up before it actually strikes. But again, if it's like the lightning wyvern, maybe even the void worm, I would also say even the blood wyverns. Oh my gosh, even the blood wyverns would just be absolute nightmares, especially the blood wyvern queen, because she's able to like reproduce rapidly with asexual reproduction. Then her kin are also able to reproduce. Not sure if it's asexual or sexual, but considering how we do breed them, so yeah, definitely sexual reproduction and stuff like that. But even then, even if I use the main 4 like ice, fire, poison, and lightning, what could you honestly do? These are the same wyverns who in the Ark lore destroyed an entire city. 2 of them, possibly just 2 fire wyverns, or maybe a fire and lightning wyvern, pulled up on a village that stole their egg and just reduced it to ash. Destroyed all of it. Multi-city block levels of attack potency just at a base. There's no way that the city would make it. The forest might make it, because again, it is a much more calmer, much more relaxed place for the wyvern population. But overall, I don't see anybody surviving a wyvern apocalypse. They can inhabit different regions, and even the colder regions can definitely be inhabited by the ice wyvern as well, which could just freeze and, give you freezer burn, I believe. But overall, yeah, I don't see anybody really surviving a wyvern apocalypse. But then again, you could likely just go underground into like the sewer areas where there are some established bases where you could definitely hide on Benoi. But overall, that's it. That's going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends, or I'm going to have Scorpion come and get you. Peace.